Alright guys, well, we just bent our drag link. We were actually trying to climb this, and I'm actually really surprised how easy the drag link bent, because I was trying to go up this thing, and it basically, if you can see down here, it's bent like a big moon right now, so we can't actually turn the van. We're going to try to use the winch to kind of bend it back at least enough to where we can get back to town and buy a new drag link. All right, well, I think we've got it fixed enough to where we can get out of here. So just so you know, like the way the drag link was bent, I couldn't actually turn the tires at all to the right. Now I can at least turn the tires.
Unfortunately, after further inspection, we found more damage than originally assessed.
All right, guys, well, we are at Dirt Road Garage. As you guys see, the old Ford. Some of you guys missed that, but we're actually here for the van. We were out doing a little wheeling, ended up damaging some stuff on the front end. All right, so the problem that we're having with the van is the cross member underneath the motor is cracked. The track bar bracket connects into that, and because it's cracked, that's causing a lot of extra flex. And that makes it to where when you're driving the van, like even on the highway or whatever, it's very wandery. It wants to kind of go all over the place. It just isn't a good setup. So we're going to actually, right now, they're just kind of lifting the van, getting it ready, but we're going to end up replacing that setup, beefing up the, we're gonna beef up the cross member, fix the crack, and then we're going to rethink the track bar bracket and the way it connects to the axle.
This is going to be a 3-part video series. The first phase will be to fix the damage to the cross member and upgrade the track bar and track bar mount. My goal is not only to repair the damage, but to improve the overall comfort and drivability of Sasquatch. Phase 2 and 3 will be directly related to improving the on-road and off-road driving characteristics of Sasquatch.
All right, so this is the current track bar bracket that we're taking off the van. This is where it connects into the cross member. That would give it the support that it typically would need, and so it wouldn't flex. But with my cross member being cracked and damaged, it no longer had that support and was causing it to flex, which is causing the van to wander and not track straight down the road.
I had been chatting with Aaron at DRG for a while about these upgrades. Ever since I took that RMT Overland Jeep Gladiator out on that high desert overland trip last spring. That Jeep handled so nice, and it made me wonder if there couldn't be some improvements that could be made to the van. I have no expectations that the van will ever handle like that Jeep being a 9,000-pound block on wheels, but I was very curious to find out what could be done in the right hands. And since we needed to have this damage fixed anyhow, I figured it was a perfect time to find out. I really wanted to work with Aaron at DRG because of his background in building desert off-road racing trucks.
We used to race best in desert, Ford Rangers, 7100, stock class, Ford sponsorship. So we 98, 08, about 10 years. A bunch of championships, won all kinds of races, and it was a good time. Built everything. That's all. The only way we could afford it was to build our own stuff. So learn a lot that way. Basically what works, what doesn't. I mean, basically in the classes we were running, it was a stock or stock modified class. So we take whatever stock A-arms and gusset those up, strengthen the weak parts, create braces, whatever the rules would allow, because we were set rules we were working with. So strengthen up the parts that broke, or send them out for heat treat, or whatever we had to do to get these parts to live.
With Aaron's experience building race trucks, I felt like he was the perfect person to get Sasquatch moving through the wilderness like the true beast that it is. DRG has a well set up fab shop. One of the things that always catches my attention is the plasma table. And they design all their parts in CAD, which gives them precision repeatability. This definitely sets DRG apart from other shops that I've worked with.
So these are all our brackets, track bar brackets, bump stop bracket. Here's a upper track bar bracket, but basically everything's drawn in AutoCAD, so we can replicate that on the plasma here. And so every time it's just, you just plug in the part, cut it out, it's a done deal.
After fixing the crossmember and strengthening the damaged area with a plate, the next step was to move the track bar mounting point on the axle.
So this is the stock location of the track bar bracket on the axle. And so what we want to do is move that pivot up. So what we do is go with the rod in, move the pivot up, so we can also move the bracket up higher on the frame. Less leverage on the frame, stronger, better geometry. And so we got to cut all this bracket off, make some tabs to hold that rod in.
So one of the steps that I do feel like was overlooked in the original conversion was lowering my bump stops. Aaron quickly took care of this and then moved on to the upper track bar bracket. The upper track bar mounts bolt on using the same holes as the steering gearbox.
All right, so at this point, we've got the drag link back on. We've got the custom track bar that Aaron made, and we're just got the suspension at this point completely compressed in its compressed state so that we can check for clearances, make sure everything is clearing properly, and also make sure that we are maintaining proper geometry throughout the complete stroke of the suspension.
The new track bar mount also allows for a longer track bar. This helped a lot with Sasquatch's prior bump steer issue. In fact, bump steer now is practically non-existent. This wraps up phase 1 of the repairing of Sasquatch and improving its overall drivability. Stay tuned for phase 2, where DRG will improve Sasquatch's caster angle, which will help it track better on the highway. If you guys have any questions, please leave those down below. If you guys are interested in working with DRG on a project that you have, check out their website, linked below, and we'll see you guys again outside.